Welcome back to the Game Breakers podcast. Today I'm joined by a full crew of
Kimani
and Litzy.
And today we're going to be talking about some breaking news in the basketball and football landscape. Some news in the NFL as former star receiver for the Raiders, Davante Adams, was traded to the Jets for a conditional third-round pick. The conditions are that if Adams makes first-team All-Pro or if the Jets make the AFC Championship game this season, then it becomes a second. With either option looking unlikely, it's looking like a third-round pick for the Raiders. What's your guys' thoughts on the trade?
I think it was a good trade for the Jets. In particular, they're in between him and Aaron Rodgers. Did you see the video where they had the interview and then
when he came in,
he was like,
yeah,
that was
he was
really
already
fun.
at his house.
That sounds at the same time. Well, yeah, for the Jets, they have a lot of offensive weapons now, just more deadly for them. Hopefully, this can probably change their season around. We'll see how that goes for them.
Yeah, in the video he said, talking about the hamstring injury that he wasn't playing for.
But I told you, like, he wasn't hurt for you.
On the interview, he said, "Thanks for asking about my knee injury."
He was just joking around. But me personally, I think the trade wasn't too surprising, but it is interesting to see them back together, Aaron Rodgers and him. But I'll say we'll see how they play together now. But I do feel like it's more pressure now since they already played previously, but they didn't really win any championships. So we'll see how they play now with the Jets.
You know, there's like 5 players from that team that's not on the Jets with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you got Alan Lazard as well. So now he's got two of his...
the coordinators too, like one of the offensive coordinators too.
Yeah, so now Rodgers has 2 of his receivers from Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that team will get some more synergy down the line. They are 2-4 at the season, but looking to make a turn. We had another big trade, another wide receiver in the AFC. Browns receiver Amari Cooper gets traded to the Buffalo Bills for a third-round pick. So Josh Allen finally gets his number 1 option after losing Stephon Diggs in the offseason. And the Bills, looking like one of the better teams in the conference, now destined to make a run with his new target. What do you think about the Amari Cooper trade?
I think the Amari Cooper trade was a good trade for the Bills, especially with the way they're playing now. I feel like offensively they'll bring more weapons to their team. So I think that was a great trade for the Bills.
I agree. The whole west side, well, not say west, but the whole side with them and the Bengals, Chiefs, it's just all competitive. The players are going to be great to watch.
Yeah, and they got him for almost the same price as Adams. Amari Cooper is obviously way cheaper with his contract, so I think that was a good deal for Buffalo. And moving on, we are ready to slate on the Week 7 of NFL matchups. We have a full slate of games coming up this weekend, so we're each going to be breaking down some key matchups. There's a lot of good ones this week. So we're going to be breaking down each of these matchups. I'll start us off with the Lions versus Vikings. So 2 of the top teams in the NFC going off in the same division. You have Jared Goff, who's top 5 in explosive passing plays this season. He's 23rd in pressured throws this year, and he's going against a Vikings defense that pressures the quarterback a lot. Brian Flores in this Vikings defense blitz the quarterback, pressure them a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see if Jared Goff, who hasn't dealt with that a lot this season, is going to be able to respond to the pressure. He is 1st in clean pocket accuracy and 5th in clean pocket completion percentage. But the question is, how much are they going to be able to keep him clean? And how much are they going to be able to maintain the pressure from Detroit? Lions also lost their star pass rusher, Aiden Hutchinson, last week. A broken leg. He's out for the season indefinitely. So it'll be interesting to see how good that Lions defense is without their best player. Ultimately, I think the Vikings will win. They are minus 1.5 point favorites at home. So it should be a close game.
What are you guys' predictions on the game?
For the game, I have the Lions winning.
You have the Lions winning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Vikings winning, but I think it'll be a close game. Vikings are favored by 1 point.
Yeah, I also have the Vikings winning too.
After those plays by the coach last week, I'm convinced.
It's not the Cowboys anymore. I think losing Hutchinson was a big one. I mean, he was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, so that's going to be tough for the defense.
I'm going to bet on one person. I have the Lions winning.
And you got the Vikings coming back from a bye, so they had an extra week to prepare. All right, moving on. We have another matchup is the Texans versus Packers, another good matchup this week. Houston's top 5 in the league in pass attempts, and Green Bay allows the 8th most passing yards per game. So you have a really good passing attack going against a pretty poor passing defense. C.J. Stroud has played really well this season. And they are without their top weapon, Nico Collins, who is on the IR with an injury. But they still have Tank Dell. They still have Stephon Diggs and other players they can get the ball to. Jordan Love on the other end, he has 12 touchdowns in just 4 games this season. So despite the injury, he's playing pretty well. But ultimately, I think Houston will get the job done. They are 3-point underdogs, but I think they'll get the win.
Yeah, me personally, I also have the Texans and the Packers down. So one of the Packers' biggest challenges right now is C.J. Stroud is completing 61.1% of his passes and also averaging 9.4 yards per attempt when he is pressured this season. But the Texans do have a nice set of weapons like around Stroud, although Nico Collins is out with a hamstring injury. But regarding the Packers, their run game has been powerful to start this season. I mean, they're ranked second in the NFL behind the Ravens. And as many of us know, the Texans are like relatively average when it comes to defending the run. But overall, I do think it's going to be like a close game.
You have any matchup highlighted?
Oh, yeah, because you went 2, so I thought she was going to go to it. But I'll go. I have the Ravens versus the Buccaneers.
Primetime game.
Primetime game, man. So these two teams both lead the NFL in total touchdowns with 21 each. Lamar and Baker Mayfield both have been playing in really good form, so I feel like in the quarterback battle, it should be a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
The system of the offense and the mobility of the defense will be a major factor in today's game. Not today's game, but this week's game, sorry. As well as who is able to control the tempo. The Ravens are, we all know, a dynamic offense. Lamar controls the game with his hands and legs, so I'm wondering if Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers will be able to slow him down because they're not really the best team when it comes to rushing quarterbacks per se. For the Buccaneers, though, the offense will be tested against Baltimore aggressive defense, which excels in creating turnovers and applying pressure. They're going to have to be depending on like those aerial balls for them to get some touchdowns. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said before, whoever controls the tempo of the game, who is slowing it down, who's going faster, I feel like that determines who's going to win the game.
Yeah, the Ravens definitely put an emphasis on controlling the tempo. They're one of the best rushing teams in the whole league with Derrick Henry and Lamar.
They're the lead in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think the Ravens will come away with the win there in primetime.
So another game we're highlighting is the Eagles versus the Giants.
Oh, boy.
But this game will highlight Saquon Barkley's return to the MetLife Stadium as an Eagle now. So we'll see how fans and the Giants react to his return. The Giants' run defense is ranked 15th in the league right now, so we'll see how much they'll held down Barkley. But aside from Barkley's return, this is a must-win game for the Giants as they can't afford to fall behind the division standings. But through the Giants might struggle as Andrew Thompson will be out for the remainder of the season with having foot surgery. But fortunately, Malik Neighbors is cleared in a concussion protocol, which means he'll be making his return against the Eagles since he played last in Week 4 against the Cowboys. But overall, the Eagles are favored to win the game.
Yeah, losing Thomas was a big miss for them. Their offensive line was already pretty weak. Andrew Thomas, obviously a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle, he goes down. So Giants left very weak on the offensive side of the ball. Getting Neighbors back is big because he was their best offensive player through the first 3 weeks of the season. But yeah, I think they'll struggle to keep up with Philadelphia. So moving on to another good matchup is the Chiefs versus 49ers. Chiefs coming off the bye week 5-0, and the 49ers coming off of a win Thursday night versus the Seahawks. Now, Juju Smith-Schuster is limited in practice this week for the Chiefs, so that'll be big to see, already without Rashee Rice. Juju stepped in last week with over 100 receiving yards as that short threat for Patrick Mahomes. So if he's out, they're going to have to find someone else to replace that production. And the 49ers have had bad second halves this season. They blew big leads to the Cardinals and Rams, which both resulted in losses. And the Chiefs on the other end always seem to win those close games in the fourth quarter. 4 of their 5 wins this season are by 7 points or less. So I think the Chiefs will come away with a close win here as 1.5-point underdogs.
Bro, Mahomes always know how to he always is composed in the fourth quarter, bro.
And it's a Super Bowl rematch as well from last season.
But for my last game, I have Jets versus Steelers. You know, not really the most entertaining teams, but I want to see the reunion between the two. I'll say the X's.
Was Russell Wilson still out?
Russell Wilson. I think he's good now.
Or is he
Russell
playing
Wilson's supposed to be starting this week, actually.
this week?
Yeah. So having Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, and now what's his name? I forgot his name.
Devontae.
Yeah, and Devontae. Having those three, hopefully they can all play together. We'll see. Versus the Steelers, who are very good at defense. That's what really carrying them now. So it's gonna be very impactful for TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith to be contributing on that end. Should be a good game.
Yes, interesting. The Steelers are going to Russell Wilson after starting 4-2 with Justin Fields. He hasn't played amazing, but he's done pretty well. The team's winning games. So I think they want to see if Russell Wilson gives that offense a higher upside.
Oh, they're making him start now.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's going to be a good matchup then, Wilson and Rodgers.
Because Wilson started the season injured.
Yeah, I know that.
Which gave Fields the way to start, but they're making the change now. Any more matchups, or was that all for this week?
I mean, we can talk about my Jaguars, but...
The Jaguars.
Is that for the first overall pick in the draft?
Travis Hunter, he'll be there.
Bro.
No, it can't go, though.
So a lot of good matchups this weekend in the NFL. Make sure to tune in this weekend and see if our predictions pan out, see how well these players do across the league. And that was it for the football segment. Welcome back as we now transition to some news around the NBA. Some recent injuries going on in the preseason. We have star forward for the 76ers, Paul George. Thankfully, just a knee bruise or a bone bruise. He didn't go down with a big injury. There is some news about Kawhi Leonard, who was expected to start the season missing some games, but now he is confirmed to be out indefinitely with no return timetable in mind, which is a big blow for the Clippers, who are already lacking depth. And the Clippers could honestly be a high-end lottery team moving forward, depending on how many games Kawhi misses.
But they don't have their pick. OKC has their pick.
Right, OKC also has the rights to pick swap with the Clippers.
Bastards, bro. Hate them.
So you could see OKC, who made the conference finals last year, end up with a top five
top
pick in the
five
draft.
Wait, talking about the Sixers as well, you saw the Jared McCain fall?
Oh, yeah, Jared McCain also going down.
You didn't see, it was like a crazy fall. So I think they gave him CPR on the court. Then he had to
That's crazy.
Yeah, he had to go to the hospital. But he should be cleared to play.
Oh, that one game that, he had, something protrusion or something?
Yeah. So he had to go to the hospital, immediately. But he should be good for the start of the season.
Yeah, because he was clear with concussion protocol.
Yeah. And then Hartenstein, too, he also got hurt.
Oh, yeah, Hartenstein. We'll miss the start of the season.
5 to 6 weeks with a shoulder injury.
Thank God the Thunder have enough depth. They can kind of run back that same lineup they were using last year.
Their weakest lineup, position I should say, is your center. After Chet, they have the other
Jalen Williams,
Mr. Duke, but this should be good though. This should be good.
Yeah, so a lot of good preseason action. Season does start in a couple weeks, but unfortunately a lot of preseason injuries as well. So with the season starting soon, we're each going to be highlighting our top 25 players going into the NBA season, 25 through 1. I'll go ahead and kick us off. I did originally have Kawhi Leonard high on my list, but with the recent news that he will be out for a long time, I'm going to move him to 25. I think he still definitely deserves to be in that top tier of players when he's on the court. He's one of the best two-way players on defense and offense. His playoff performances speak for themselves. He knows how to impact and carry a team. At 24, I'm going to have Damian Lillard, who is coming off kind of a underperforming season last year, although he wasn't that bad. I think a lot of people expected that duo between him and Giannis to be a lot better. But I think having another year acclimated to that offense in Milwaukee, having another season, becoming more familiar with his teammates, I think he'll be more efficient this season. At 23, we have Zion Williamson, who's another player that if you're not factoring injuries at all, he's probably a lot higher.
Yeah.
Because he's just such a dominant player in terms of scoring, facilitating for the offense. But, of course, he has yet to play a full season in his career. 22, we have Bam Adebayo, 21, Paul George, and 20, De'Aaron Fox. I had Bam Adebayo above Paul George and Fox just because of his prowess on the defensive end. He was first-team All-Defense last season for the first time in his career, and I think he's got a shot at Defensive Player of the Year this year.
First team? That was his first time?
Yeah, it was his first time as first-team All-Defense.
For who again?
Bam. He's had second team, but not first team.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Disrespect.
I guess it's because the positionless rule now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, more bigs can get in.
Yeah. I'll go next. I have 25. I have Jimmy Butler. No shade or anything like that, but
That's big shade.
I mean Jimmy is cool and all, but what the production he's been doing for the past several seasons now, I don't like how he's approaching the game. I know realistically he should be playing really good and should be aggressive this season because he's up for a contract. So you could see him in the media week. He was taking that shit serious because he had no gimmicks on this time.
He's locked in this year.
Yeah. So I mean, with how I take it with the production of the team, I feel like Jimmy would put up some good stats like 23, 24, some decent stats. But the production of the team, I feel them being like an 8 seed ish. So I just feel like there's 24 better players coming into next season to finish it too.
I mean, Jimmy always coasts in the regular season.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I
turns it
don't
up
feel like he's
with
gonna
that.
do that this season though. That's what I'm saying.
I
But
think he will to a degree just because how old he's getting.
yeah,
I think he wants to risk injury. Like, he got injured in the
I feel
play-in
like
game last year.
I feel like he's gonna prioritize trying to get that contract this season because Pat Earl is not giving him the max unless he sees something in Jimmy,
Yeah.
and he doesn't do it. He's not believing in him right now, so he's trying to prove him wrong. You had Dame at 24, I also had Dame at 24. Matching up with Giannis, uh, so can I say he can shoot. He's an all-around threat,
Mhm.
but he needs to work on the defense. That's why they getting exposed all the time on defense. He needs to step up, but Dame is a great player. We all know that. 23, I have Darren Fox right here. I love Fox as a player. His game is really complete all around. It's just that I don't like if you look at his
Just lacks some.
right. He just like something, bro. Like, but I love him as a player though. 22, you had Bam also had Bam at 22. Probably the most versatile defender in the whole league. I hope he gets DPOY because he's been deserving one,
Mhm.
even though he's on the Heat. But yeah. I love Bam. Hopefully he's able to stretch the floor some more because that's something he's been practicing in the Olympics and in the preseason. So hopefully he does that. That's gonna expand not just his game, but how the Miami Heat run their offense.
Yeah, they've been using a lot of 5-out in the preseason,
Mhm.
which is abnormal for the Heat. They usually use Bam in the high post or
Yeah.
mid-post area and work their offense from there. But if Bam can space the floor like that and open up driving lanes for Jimmy Butler, and especially shots for Tyler and Duncan, then that offense can be a lot better than it was last year. It was pretty bad last year.
Yeah. So I'm also hoping he plays some 4 minutes as well. I know that you guys have Killaway, so again that should really change up your whole offense overall.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to 20?
Yeah, 20.
Okay, so my 21 is Sabonis. I love Sabonis' game. He's like, those playmaking bigs. I love them. Him, Sengun, Jokic, all of them. He didn't make All-Star last year, but he made All-NBA. Those are like one of the rare occasions that ever happened.
Yeah, he got snubbed.
I only say that stuff in 2K, honestly. But yeah, so I love Sabonis' game. He was the best player for the Kings last season. Him, Fox, and DeRozan, they should be making some amount of noise. But with a stacked West teams, we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
20, I have Halliburton right here. One of the best playmakers in the NBA right now. He was in some MVP races early on last season, before the injury and before the All-Star break. He did have a hamstring injury, which did decline his production, but it went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Kind of lucky, but you can't really do anything against who you're playing on the court with.
Mm-hmm.
So you just play what you have to do. So yeah, he's my 20 right now.
And they didn't do that bad against Boston.
Yeah, they held a
They
good
had some
fight.
close losses.
Yeah, it was some close losses. And that Jalen Brown's 3.
That game was rough for them to lose.
Oh, that same game, like, he talked about it, like, 2 weeks ago. He was like, that made him sick for, like, 2-3 weeks because he saw the ball going in the whole time. Yeah, that shit hurts, so.
Yeah, it's a different series if they win that game.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't see us changing much.
Okay, so for my 20 through 25, don't look at me crazy once I start saying these.
Okay.
Sabonis at 25.
Uh-huh.
No shade. I feel like, respectfully, he's at a good place at 25, but I do think potentially, like, he could increase his ranking, especially with, I feel like he's an underrated player. Like, he'll get talked about, then he'll get forgotten.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He also
Zion
needs to shoot. Yeah.
Zion at 24. I'm really excited to see Zion play this season. I feel like he's always an entertaining player to watch, but I don't know. I feel like he just need more performances, especially with the way, well, for example, Anthony Edwards is, like how explosive he is. I feel like Zion could definitely have that same energy.
Yeah.
Banchero at 23.
Okay.
He made it to my top 25.
Okay.
But
then
same
I had him on Serity, which is crazy.
30?
Yes.
Same with him. I think he's an underrated player too. Like he's not really talked about a lot in the Magic, but he's definitely one of their main key players to get wins with the Magic. But going on 22, PG, he can be higher, me personally, but with the way he was playing with the Clippers last season, I don't know. I feel like that decreased his ranking, but now with the new trade with the Sixers, I feel like he could definitely put up some more stats up. 21 is Cat.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's not really much to say about him, but I do think he's going to be a powerhouse with the Knicks now, especially with Jalen Brunson by his side. And 20 is Adebayo. I feel like you guys already cleared up most about what is said about him in the league right now. So, yeah, those are my 20 to 25.
All right, so moving on, 19, I have Kyrie Irving, your favorite player.
That's crazy.
19?
Yeah.
That's really hard. That's what I'm saying. Like, where did you have Kyrie for? Did you have your, like,
Yeah,
26?
He's on 13, though.
13?
Kyrie.
13?
13.
1-3.
See,
1-3.
you're low on
What
him.
the hell? I have him at 13.
30?
Yes, like,
That's crazy.
I'll talk
I
about
think
it.
he's definitely a top 25 player. I'll
Yeah,
share my
top
reasons.
25,
I'll
yeah.
share my
alright.
reasons in a second.
No,
but-
because when we're talking about, are we also talking at the end of the season as well? Because I don't feel like he's better than 29 people at the end of the season, though.
So looking at this season, you don't think Kyrie's a top 25 player?
Entering this season,
entering this season,
Or
I
throughout the season?
still don't think so. I still don't think so. Because, let me, quick, I have Chet, Maxey, Trae Young, Kawhi. Those people are like, I feel like those people are over him because Chet, the defense, the offense, okay, so he's going to be a top seed. Maxey, he's entering his prime now. Like, I don't know.
I don't think I'd put any of those guys over Kyrie personally.
yeah, me neither.
I think Kyrie, I mean, obviously he's not going to put up the same numbers as guys in the number one role because he's playing aside Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
But as a pure second option, he's one of the most impactful players in the whole game.
I agree with that.
I mean, playing off the ball, he's top 5 in catch and shoot percentage. He's a great playmaker as a second option. And he's actually a pretty good team defender as well. He plays his role better than guys like Halliburton, Dame, Trae Young, Maxey. So I think there's just a lot of upside with Kyrie overall. He's going to impact the game in a winning way always. But moving on, I do have Victor Wembanyama at 18.
18?
He's
Which-
not even on my list.
What? He didn't make it top 50?
Nah, top 25.
He didn't
Top
make it top
50, yeah.
25?
Top 30. But top 25, no.
I think you can make the case he was already a top 20 player in his rookie season.
Let's see, what?
The thing is, it's just his rookie season. I feel like he could still accomplish more. Like, I definitely do think, like, over time, he'll make it up to even top 5 players. But right now, like, I mean, we'll see entering the season.
I won't lie
But
to
I'm
you
not going to
guys.
put him on my top
I
25.
won't lie to you guys. He's in my top 10.
Top 10?
I am so serious. He's in my top
Top 10.
Bro, at the end of the season, you know what? I'm
All right,
gonna
we'll
say
get
it.
there. We'll get there.
I'll
We'll
say
get
it.
there.
That's crazy. Okay, go.
We'll get to the Victor Wembanyama Discord, so you have to stay to the end for that. But moving on, I have Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown at 17th, coming off. I think a lot of people would have him a lot higher. Coming
What
off
number?
for 17.
Okay.
I mean, he was pretty dominant in the finals. He was probably Boston's best on-ball defender. He was picking up full court every possession. I think that was a really impressive showing from him. But he's in a really fortunate role as Boston's second option. They have a lot of good talent alongside of him. So I do have him slightly lower. And then Jimmy Butler at 16 and Jalen Brunson at 15. Jimmy Butler, obviously, the regular season is never going to be an elite showing for him. But when it comes to the playoffs, he ultimately rises to a top 5 to 10 player in the whole league. Like we saw a couple years ago in that Milwaukee series, in that Knicks series. And I think that can't be taken for granted. He's one of the best defenders in the NBA, especially off ball, getting steals, playing the passing lanes. He just affects the game in so many ways, especially as a leader as well. So that was, and then 15, I had Jalen Brunson.
Yeah. Talked about him. So, you see, okay. Oh, my turn. Okay. 19, I have Zion right here. I at least he talked about. He's one of the most exciting players when he's healthy. For me, every time he goes in the summer, he start taking pictures. He looks mad skinny, but when he puts that uniform on, he looks the same every time to me. But I'm gonna believe what they say, and he lost like some amount of pounds, so he should be healthy, and that's good for him and for the whole team. The Pelicans, they have this questionable rotation with no
for sure.
big man. So is he gonna play the five? I hope not, because he can't really do that. He can jump, but he's not no interior defender.
No, yeah, of course.
So one of the most efficient players. He was an all-star starter in his second season. He averaged like 28 points per game the last time he was healthy. So we'll see how that happens, how that goes. 18. This is where I have Paulo. This is what I want to talk to you about.
It's pretty high.
It's pretty high, but again, they carried the Cavaliers to 7 games. That Magic team had no offense apart from Paulo. Franz did his shit like every other game, like 2 games up to the 7.
Franz wasn't bad in that series.
He shot 40% from the field. I think that is terrible for the second option. And it was like 19 points per game. It's his first time in the playoff, but again, like, I'm just showing you how good Paulo is to carry that team to 7 games against the Caps.
Cleveland also was not an insanely strong team last season, though.
Nah, but like his matchup was Evan Mobley. Plus, they had Mitchell and Garland. Garland wasn't really all that, but Mitchell was going crazy every other game.
Yeah, Mitchell is really good.
Yeah, so Paulo, he's a great playmaker, rebounder. His defense may need some work, but he's not below average. And with efficiency, Paulo, he takes some iffy shots, but he also makes them occasionally. So, what do I have him so high? Because I feel like with shooting, once he gets that down, he's going to be one of the most complete players in the NBA. 17, I have Donovan Mitchell. I guess this is kind of low, but I just feel like there's some better players here, like I talked about before. I love the Cavaliers team overall. I think we talked about it. Most of their players, the top 4 players, they were hurt apart from Jared Allen. So he played like 55 games last season. So a healthy Mitchell and a decent Darius Garland, a healthy Evan Mobley with Jared Allen, that team should be making some crazy noise. I mean, before Mitchell even got hurt, he was top 5. He was in some conversation talk for MVP.
Yeah, Mitchell was really good that last season.
Yeah, I think when Garland and Mobley were out, and it was just him and Jared Allen, they were like 13-1 before he got hurt. So I'm excited to see him play. 16, I have Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP, but they made the Olympics team. Crazy to me, but that's what happens in politics. But yeah, Jaylen Brown, he proved a lot of people wrong, and I respect that about him. He showed them why he's worth all that money. He takes and makes a lot of hard shots, and that's really what put the Celtics over the hump when Tatum wasn't really shooting that good in the playoff. So yeah, he just did his stuff. He's a great two-way player. Stopping Luka in the finals, that's still crazy to me. He did an amazing job with that, and against Kyrie as well. 15, I have Devin Booker. The second best shooting guard in the league, in my opinion. But he's one of the most efficient players, one of the efficient shooters in the whole game. He's always consistent. Leading the team for the Suns really and truly on the offensive end for most times. I feel like he's going to be a main contributor to the whole team overall. That's my 15.
Okay. I feel like our rankings were a little similar when it came to 15 through 19, but for 19, I got Halliburton.
Okay.
Right now, he's like one of the best players for the Pacers, but honestly, they're not towards the playoffs. I feel like that's when they start losing their they start losing their focus. But I feel like overall, the more they keep playing, or at least Halliburton, like he's definitely gonna get it. But 18, I have Maxey. Same with Shusa Kamani. Like he's in his prime right now, especially with the Sixers, and adding Paul George into the mix, I feel like it's definitely gonna be a good advantage for him.
I feel like it's good for Maxey because Embiid won't be playing back-to-back games. That's what he said. And Paul George is gonna be out for some time. So whoever plays fantasy basketball or whatever, he's gonna have some really good stats going into the start of the season.
Yeah.
I think it'll benefit him if those guys play though. 'cause
No,
they're way
not
more
for sure,
efficient.
yeah. But he's gonna be able to really show he's able to be a number one option because last season when Embiid was out for basically the whole year, he did a good job
Yeah.
controlling the team.
Yeah. I also had Mitchell at 17,
Mm-hmm.
Brunson at 16, and Booker at 15.
Oh yeah.
But honestly, Jalen Brunson really did a great, outstanding job last season leading the Knicks to the playoffs. But especially with Cat now, I mean, we're going to see how their chemistry is going to work. And with Booker at the Suns, honestly, I feel like that's just a good spot for him to be at.
Mm-hmm. So moving on, at 14, I have Donovan Mitchell. I think last season really elevated his ranking. I mean, he was putting up 30, 40-point performances consistently.
Yeah.
Really efficient from three, and he shot a huge percentage of off-the-dribble three-pointers. So I think that was really impressive as a scorer. At 13, I had Devin Booker. Him and Donovan Mitchell could go hand in hand.
I
I mean,
agree.
very similar. At 12, Stephen Curry. He has dropped a little, but I think you still got to put him up
You
there.
said
above
13?
12 for Curry.
I get what you're saying though.
Is he getting old?
If you look at the guys ahead of him,
I get what you're saying.
I think it's surprised he's going to be at 11. I have John Morant ahead of Curry.
What? I'm playing. I'm playing. All right, go ahead.
I think going into the season, John Morant, people forget last time he was healthy, he was top 3 in MVP voting.
What number you have him as?
11.
Okay.
I got him at 12.
That's very disrespectful.
For Morant?
Yeah, I have him top 3, but
Top 3?
I'm playing.
I was about to say.
I mean, I'd believe it. You said got Bankero, Wemby, and Jaws. Your top 3.
For real.
But no, John Morant was an MVP leading candidate when he was healthy. He does a lot for that team. And that short glimpse he came back last season before he got injured, I mean, he was putting up huge performances.
He had a game in his first game.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't feel like Michael Jordan is doing that. But that's my opinion.
Bro.
I mean, I don't think he's better than Jordan. But
Compare him to him.
at 10, I have Anthony Edwards, who is more like Michael Jordan. But Anthony Edwards has just done more the last 2 seasons than Morant. I think when they're both healthy, it's definitely a close race.
Mm-hmm.
But I just give Edwards the edge just because of how much better he's played the last couple seasons.
I hope they play in the playoff. Last time they did, it was really, really good.
Yeah, that'd be a great matchup between those two teams.
All right, so at 14, I have Jalen Brunson. He's gonna be the offensive weapon, the major one. He's gonna be controlling the offense, having amazing four spacers, Mikal, Cat, OG Anunoby, and having somebody like Hart crushing the boards. All that is gonna help Brunson elevate his whole game because he likes to drive, post up, fade away, all that stuff. So yeah, he really did amazing in the playoffs per se, and having Randall out now and him being the only main ball handler is gonna really elevate his game in my opinion.
Also having a big that can actually space the floor now and play outside.
Well, do you think Cat's gonna go back to the 4 when Mitchell Robinson starts out the fight when he's back now, or do you think he's gonna come off the bench?
I don't think so. I think Mitchell Robinson probably comes off the bench.
Because I'm worried about Cat's interior defense.
Yeah, it definitely is a concern, but they have a lot of.
Might try it though. Yeah.
They have a lot of athletic wings like OG and Bridges, so I think they can kind of make up for the defensive end.
Yeah, I agree. 13, I have AD right here. I love the Lakers, but
AD at 14.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this is kind of low, but I have it here. I'm gonna just stick with it. But I love AD's game. I feel like he's gonna really take over the number 1 option for the Lakers this season. I hope, because LeBron is pushing 40 now. But he's a great 2-way player. Redick has been helping him with his shooting. Yesterday in the preseason game, he had like 4 for 9.
Yeah, he was shooting.
I don't remember the last time he scored 3 threes in that game before.
Or shot 9 threes.
Or shot 9 threes overall. So, I love the Lakers offense JJ Redick is running. It's gonna be good for not just AD and LeBron, but for the whole team. And once the whole team is able to start shooting consistently, it opens up the game for LeBron and AD, and that's where he's gonna really strive. But the best part about AD is his rebounding and his defense. where he's able to really carry a whole Lakers team on his back and made them a competent defensive team. Where am I? 12. This is where I have Ant. I love Ant. He's one of the most exciting players. I love his energy. I love how he displays his character on social media and just playing the game too. Trash talking KD, like when I saw that shit was tough to me. But yeah, like he's one of the most efficient slashing guards there is right now. He's able to play elite defense. There's not really much wrong with his game apart from the playmaking. I feel like once his decision making increases and he's able to pass the ball or look for open man quicker, it should be good. But also, what's going to hinder him is playing with Julius Randle, in my opinion, and the limited floor spacing. They lost their best shooting cat, and he was a big as well, so that's really going to prevent the rim presence.
Yeah.
So the paint's going to be clogged up. That's where Ant really excels as a player. So I want to see how that goes for him. 11, this is where I have Ja Morant.
You're in the same spot.
I know, I was just trolling you guys. So the last time Ja was host and the whole team was host, so they were the second seed. So even though the West did get much, much better, I don't feel like they'll be falling off too crazy. I feel like it should be a top 5 seed same way. The issue with the Grizzlies overall is that they don't have a 3. But I feel like that's okay having Desmond Bain and Marcus Smart there. The defense and the floor spacing should cancel everything out.
I mean, they do have Gigi Jackson.
Now he's hurt.
He's hurt?
Yeah, he's not playing for like a month or 2.
Oh, really?
Him and Vince Williams. The 2 small forwards on the team.
So
right?
they have no wings?
They have no wings again. And they traded Zaire Williams because he also hasn't been doing anything. But yeah, so Ja Morant, he's gonna be able to really push the floor. I was questioning how Zach Edey was gonna play with Ja, but he's
looked amazing.
Yeah, like he's very mobile for a big man. That's what we were talking about, 7'5". So this is gonna be the first time Ja actually has a really good lob threat as well. So I'm expecting Ja to be playmaking much more because I haven't really, or us as an audience has never really seen him playmake to an elite level. And I feel like he is a really good playmaker. He just didn't have a lob threat to really throw the ball to like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my 11.
Do y'all have both Ja Morant over Edwards?
He had Ant over.
I had Ant 1 spot above him.
I had Ja 11, Ant 12.
Okay, so for 14, I have Jaylen Brown.
I didn't say my number 10.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Let me guess. Wemby.
Nope. He's more tired. Number 10, this is where I have Steph. Steph is a great player, we all know that, but the team is not as good as it used to be.
Yeah.
They're going to have to start changing up their system because Steve Kerr relies on that same system of free-flowing offense, 3-point shooting, but the team is changing, and I don't feel like he's ready to accept that yet. Steph Curry also talked about it, where changing the offense doesn't mean we're getting worse. We just need to look at some different options. So, but yeah, Steph is aging. I don't feel like he's going to be falling off, but again, like having the way he plays, running around 5-6 screens every possession.
How much longer can you keep that up?
How much longer can you really do that?
When he's getting all the attention.
That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like his shooting's going to fall off per se, but I just don't feel like he's able to be doing all of that like he was doing 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and he also relies on Draymond's passing and playmaking. How many players on that Warriors team is able to produce those passes that Draymond and Clay were able to do for Steph? So I just feel like with a lot of new bodies like Buddy Hield, Milton, and Slow-Mo, high IQ player, which is how the Warriors like to play the offense, but it's their first time, so I feel like that's going to hinder the offense overall. And we all know Steph's not the best defender by any means, so we're only talking about his offensive abilities, and I feel like that's going to really regress. You can go now.
Okay, so for 14, I have Jaylen Brown. I feel like probably a couple people or many people will probably think I rated him or ranked him low, especially with the way the outcome of last season turned out to be. But honestly, that whole controversy with Jason Tatum versus him, I feel like paints a negative light onto the team. But overall, I feel like Jaylen Brown could definitely showcase more, especially with this upcoming season. But 13, I have Kyrie. Him playing with Luca. Him playing with Luca, I feel like definitely brought like a strong chemistry for the team. I mean, look where it took them to the finals, but ultimately they couldn't really finish the job. But I feel like once they got that little taste, like they could really just bring it next season. 12, I got Morant, and 11, I got Edwards. So for me, they're kind of like close to each other, but overall, I did put Anthony Edwards over John Morant. But I feel like a healthy John Morant will definitely like improve his playmaking just overall, just his whole style. But 10, I got AD. So, yeah, I think that's a good spot for AD to be at, especially defensively, the way he is with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got LeBron at 9 and Anthony Davis at 8. I think Davis has an argument for the best defender in the NBA right now. I mean, he's so impactful in the paint. People can't even get a shot up against him when he's in
on
there.
DPOY, though, which is crazy.
That's insane. I mean, we saw in the Olympics, like, he was insanely dominant.
It's crazy how, like, when he just got into the NBA, people saw he's going to be, like, a 5-time, like, really.
He was already touted that highly as a defender.
Never ever won one before.
I feel like the opinion of him as a defender has kind of gone down over the years, which is weird to me. But
I feel like that was true, like, 2021, 2022, but I feel like it's going up again.
Yeah, it's going back up for sure.
I don't feel it's going to win DPOY, though, because the Lakers as a whole team. Yeah.
Probably first team, but...
Yeah, first team for sure, but not DPOY.
The voters just kind of look at block numbers, really, and it's not the best voting system. But 7th, I have Kevin Durant. He's getting old, but still hasn't declined at all. We saw in the Olympics his volume scoring. I mean, there might not be another player as unguardable as him. But all these guys in this top tier are very unguardable. And then 6th, Jason Tatum. Had to give him some respect, put him over Kevin Durant after the finals. He does a lot just beyond scoring. I think a lot of people look at the inefficiency that he has with his shooting, but he's impacting the game with the drive and kicks, with the defense. He does pretty much everything for that Boston team, so he's got to be up there. And then I'll go to number 5, where I have Joel Embiid. What is it, 2-time MVP? One? Yeah. Okay, so Embiid, I don't think I can put him above the top 5 just because of the injuries. Now we know that he's not going to be able to play back-to-backs. He's going to miss a lot of time this season. And I think the other guys are just more consistently playing, especially when the playoffs have come. So I have an Embiid at 5.
Why do you have KD over LeBron?
I think LeBron has just taken more of a step back over the year to be more of a facilitator for the team, and obviously the defense is not the same. Whereas KD is still taking that step as a lead scorer for the Suns team. Like, even when Beal, Booker, and KD play, the majority of the plays and shots go to KD. So I think he's more of the number one option than LeBron at this point.
I think that's fair. The reason why I ask is because KD is my 9 and LeBron's my 8. The reason why I have LeBron over KD is because of the offensive responsibility that LeBron has to partake. Going into his 22nd season, I'm not gonna be talking about what year he's going into and so, but I just feel like it's very incredible for him to be doing all of this.
Yeah, for sure.
In year 22, the only person to ever be in the season this long in the league this long is probably Vince Carter, and
he did not average as much as LeBron.
He was the 15th man on the Hawks. But yeah, the reason I have LeBron higher than KD is because, like I said, he has the responsibility of controlling the offense for the Lakers. D'Lo is the point guard. We know that, but LeBron is the person that has the ball in his hand and making the plays and stuff like that. He's one of the best playmakers, same way. He's one of the deadliest person in transition, able to pass, score, or, make the right play when it happens. His last season was his best three-point shooting season his whole career. Crazy to me. So
yeah, he thinks he's a shooter now.
He is a shooter now. On and off the court. But LeBron, I love KD. KD, like you said, both of them are regressing, but this is kind of like a Ant and Jaw type of scenario, 1 and 2. But KD is one of the most efficient scorers of all time, one of the best scorers of all time. We know that he has a great or a big responsibility on the offensive end as well. But I feel like Booker, I don't think Booker was really hurt that last season. No, yeah, he was.
He missed some time, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why KD really had to go in his back through. But number 7, this is where I have Victor Wembanyama.
Wow. 7?
Yeah. All right, let me tell you.
I mean, if you look at by the end of the season where they'll end up, I could see it, but it's still very high.
This is what I know. I know you guys are gonna have him this high. I want to talk about him. Wemby has DPOY potential already going into. He was second in his rookie season.
He should have been.
He should have been DPOY, but that's his team's because his team was better at defense, so he can't give. You know what I'm saying? So also, I don't feel he's gonna win DPOY this season because of the same theory, how his team's gonna be better at defense, so he won't be able to get it. He's gonna have the numbers though for sure.
Yeah.
He averaged like 3 blocks last season. I'm really positive he'll be averaging like 3.5. But yeah, having Chris Paul, having better offensive weapons on his team with Harrison Barnes, and Chris Paul, like I mentioned before, who is able to actually pass him the ball this time. So I feel like he's gonna have a great jump offensively and defensively from going to like 21 to probably 25, 26. He should be getting way more easier shots, more shots at the rim. I'm pretty sure he settled a lot with jump shooting, and I feel like that was one of his weaknesses because he was too weak to really body anybody inside the paint. So he settled a lot with middies and 3-pointers. But yeah, Chris Paul is going to be teaching him a lot this season. I feel like that's going to be something very underrated. Chris Paul has taught many young players before, and look what's happening now. Like, example, Shea, one of the MVP frontrunners right now. That OKC season with Chris Paul and Shea, that really did a lot for Shea.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it would be the same thing with Wemby, not just by playmaking, but how to approach the game and all that stuff overall.
And another thing, he had over 3 blocks per season last year, and he was playing on like a minute restriction for the whole first couple months of the season. Exactly. I think he was only getting around.
And he was playing the 4 instead of the 5. So, yeah.
22 to 25 minutes a game around that range.
Yeah, so...
And if you look at the rating for the team defense when he was on and off the court...
They were like first, and then they jumped like...
It's ridiculous.
Last, So, yeah, I feel like this is a very good place to have Wemby at the end of the season if we look back at this. Like you said, too, I've Tatum at 6. It's just... He's one of the most complete players. We already know this. He's great at really and truly everything. But
it's not him.
Yeah, there's just... Let me not say that. Because his shooting at the end of the season was very worrisome. We saw Jalen Brown and the other 2 role players.
Yeah.
Elite role players. This is what I'm talking about. Let's see. Wait, pause. We were saying Bronny. I was saying Bronny's his ceiling would be like Derek White. But I feel like that's very good, though, because Derek White's one of the best role players of all time.
But do you think Bronny's going to like end up eventually being just a role player?
I think if Bronny's Derek White, that'd be like a huge success.
Yeah, no, but she sings like, what are you trying to...
I'm saying that I don't think Bronny's just going to be a role player.
She sings that Bronny's going to be better than a Derek White.
I don't even think Bronny's going to be a role player.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to be a role player.
No, he seems going to get cut.
Oh, Bronny would be less than that?
Bronny would be lucky if he's a role player.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think Derek White would be like his absolute max.
So like a Scottie Pippen Jr. type of player?
Yeah, something like that. But a little bit better. I told her...
I don't know about better, bro. Scottie Pippen's kind of nice.
Yeah. No, not his son.
I know.
Oh.
Like, he can score. Bronny can't score.
Bro, no, it's just because it's the preseason. Just wait till like...
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, he has like some tools, and he has like LeBron.
He has no bag. He has no size.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, like he's 6'1", 6'2". Like, but anyways, back to this now. So Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Jalen Brown really carried Tatum in the playoffs from like the conference finals to the finals overall. But Tatum did play amazing on the defensive end, and that's what I really applaud him for, because that also contributed heavily to them winning the championship. He was marking Daniel Gafford and Lively a bunch when Porzingis was out in the finals. So I really applaud him for that, and his consistency to always stay away from the negative energy that he gets from the social media. I feel like it's very mature of him, and I just like how he approaches the game overall as a player and as a person. That's it.
Okay, so starting with my number 9, I do got Tatum at 9. I do think he's like overall an elite player, but top 5, no, I still think he has a lot to prove, especially with the way he finished behind Jalen Brown and the Finals MVP. So, yeah, I definitely do think Tatum has a lot more to prove. But my number 8, I do have LeBron. Well, number 7, I do have Curry over him.
Okay.
But I do agree with they're both aging, but I still think there's two like really impactful players, especially for both their teams.
Why Curry over LeBron?
Why Curry over LeBron? Honestly, they're kind of neck and neck, but because they're also both very good leaders for both of their teams. So honestly, it's not really much of a big difference because they're really good leaders for the team. But I do have KD over both of them too, though.
Okay.
At number 6. And lastly, number 5. Wait, you said number 5?
I didn't say my number 5.
Okay. We're just going to leave it at KD at number 6.
You said your number 5.
All right, yeah, I said my 5 was Embiid. But moving on to the top 4, these were really hard to group. But I have Luka at 4th. I think the other guys just... So I have Shea at 3rd, Giannis at 2nd, Jokic at 1st.
Okay.
I think
Wait, second at who?
2nd is Giannis. 1 is Jokic. 3 is Shea.
Mm-hmm.
Shea and Giannis are obviously better on the defensive end than Luka. And then Jokic is just unarguably the best offensive player in the league. So I think that's where Luka falls 4th amongst those. I think Shea and Luka's definitely the closest out of that 4, but Shea's just so consistent. Like, no matter what game he's in, he's going to put up 30 points. He's going to be good on the defensive end. He's going to be good facilitating. Even in the playoffs, like, they didn't go to the finals, but he didn't have a single bad game the whole playoffs.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault.
It was all over 20 points per game, good efficiency. Whereas Luka had some games where the shooting was very off or he wasn't locked in on the defensive end.
I don't really blame him, Chris. He had, like, 4 injuries, like, in the whole...
Luka?
Yeah, he had, like... His knee was bloody and stuff like that. He had like a bunch of injuries.
No, for sure. But I've never seen Shea drop off at elite level of performance in the last few years. And then Giannis 2nd. Giannis is getting a little bit forgotten about, but he was the definitive best player in the league a couple years ago coming off that finals win. He's dominant on the defensive end, obviously dominant on the offensive end scoring. And he's found a way to shoot the mid-range more, like get into that fadeaway and the pull-up mid-range. So he's adding some dimensions to his game.
Is it scoring, though?
Huh?
Is it scoring?
Giannis?
Is it dropping?
Sometimes. I mean, he's averaging 30, so.
That's true, that's true.
With 25 paint points a game. But still, it's unguardable. And then Jokic is probably the most unguardable player I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it just feels like no matter what you do, you're never going to stop him unless he misses.
Yeah.
If you double him, he's going to find the open guy every time. If you leave him in single coverage, I've seen him go against Rudy Gobert, some of the best centers in the league. He just bullies them like they're nothing. I mean, Davis, one drop step and he's on the rim. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything you can do to stop Jokic at this point. It's just a matter of can they find the right pieces around him, which I think they have, and they're probably going to get back to that level that they were a couple years ago.
5. This is where I have Embiid. Regular season, one of the best, most dominant players we have seen in a while. But with the news of him not playing back-to-back games, that's kind of iffy.
Yeah.
But I guess I understand it for his career because he wants to actually pursue a deep playoff run in the playoff. So I understand what he's saying. And he also lost like 20 pounds or something like that. So it's good for him. But yeah, he's also a very unguardable player. It's just that when he comes into the playoff, that's when stuff change. And he gets hurt and stuff like that. But yeah, one of the best, if not the best, free throw. How do I get it? Initiator. Like he knows how. Yeah, he knows how. He knows how to draw the fouls. It's annoying, but it's a skill. It's a skill same way.
It works.
And it works. So good for him. And he's able to shoot it unlike most centers. Yeah, his playmaking has increased. His rebounding is very good. His defense is amazing. I feel like that's underrated as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's really able to carry the team from last year to a top 3 seed before he got hurt. And that's when they really started to digress as a whole team overall. But when the playoff came, he really did a good job. But the injuries with his knee, that's
it was too much to overcome.
Yeah, it was just too much. Because you remember the play where he threw off the backboard to himself and he dunked it?
Yeah.
That was his first dunk since his injury.
And then he got hurt on that play.
Yeah, so it was just crazy. That whole series was crazy. I was jumping in my couch.
Now, when he did that play off the backward, I was like,
Yeah. I was like, that's crazy. But four, this is where I have Shea. Like you said, the top four, well, top 2 to 4 is kind of interchangeable just on what you value. The reason I'm giving Shea 4 and Luke and Giannis are high is just because of what I've seen Luke and Giannis do over a period of time. Shea had an amazing playoff run. They had an amazing regular season run as well. The Celtics were like the big dogs, but they were right there too.
yeah.
They had potential to go to the finals, and if they went to the finals instead of the Mavericks, I feel like we'd be talking about this whole scenario differently. They could have won that if they're healthy and stuff. But yeah, Shea is one of the most consistent players in the league. He's always getting that 31 points. He's a great leader. One of the youngest teams in the league. I feel like that's a great prop to him. As a 26-year-old leading a team full of 22-year-olds and 21-year-olds. One of the best mid-range shooters, one of the best on-ball stealers or on-ball defenders. And he also approaches the game in a very professional way, and I appreciate that about him. Who is next? Number 3 is where I have Giannis. You also mentioned this before. Giannis is not really talked about as much anymore, and I feel like he's getting disrespected. And I feel like he's also aware of that too. So he always takes his stuff to heart. And I know that going into next season, he's going to really make sure people know that I'm still here.
I think he's going to kill it this season if he doesn't get hurt again.
I'm still that number 1 guy. So he's going to really be aggressive. I feel like that would be the difference between him and like a player like Embiid or Tatum, because they are hearing that stuff, but they're not really going to do it to him. Giannis going to make sure that you guys see that I'm really here the same way. But yeah, I don't know about his shooting that you mentioned, Daniel, but he's the best transition scorer in the game right now. People don't want to see him in the paint. He's one of the best defenders, on ball, off ball, interior, and perimeter. So all of those abilities that he has is what carries him to number 3 right here. Number 2, I have Luka. Talking about the playoffs, I know he got hurt a lot, and that kind of hindered his basketball skills and the way he was playing.
Yeah.
But knowing he carried that team to the finals, I feel like that's very impressive. Where can I start? 30-point triple-double monster. He's been better at defense, but he's still not there. But I can see him improving.
Yeah, for sure.
He looks more fit this season, so hopefully he's able to move faster and more aggressive with the basketball as well. Yeah, so with all of that stuff, with our better team as well, with Klay Thompson there, more floor spacers, I feel like he'd be able to make some more, get more stats, go crazy the same way. And number 1, we have Mr. I Don't Care, Nikola Jokic.
That's another thing. He's like, how do you not play basketball for 3... If he's actually telling the truth.
Yeah, he doesn't play.
How do you not play basketball for 3 months and you come back and dominate the best players in the world?
It's so crazy. Did you see that shit with Victor? He was saying, I respect a lot of NBA players, but when I come to playing against them, I don't really respect them. I feel like it's talking about Jokic for you. I really feel like it's talking about Jokic.
Well, Jokic killed him. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, you already talked about everything. Jokic, he's probably the most efficient player in the league when it comes to the type of shot that he's taking. Because unlike most centers, he's actually taking 3 points, he's taking middies, he's taking the last shot in the game. But he's also playmaking, he's always finding the last person. Not last one, but the open person. Losing people like KCP last year, or this offseason, I should say, and then losing more people before that, like Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, it just comes to a point where I'm getting concerned for the whole organization overall, where how much were you going to lose before you start?
Yeah, they haven't done a great job with that roster, especially, I think it's the Porter contract kind of hurting them.
Yeah, but again, I don't really blame them because this happened with the second apron. This is why they're not able to attain their players. So even though Jokic is the best player, I really don't see the Nuggets getting much better. They're a top 4 team same way, but I feel like Aaron Gordon's going to be a free agent this year. I think he is. They might have the money to pay him, so it's going to keep getting worse. But Jokic is going to be consistent the same way.
Yeah.
He's always busting everybody's ass, so he's fine.
Okay, so to end my top 25, I have number 5, Joel Embiid. I feel like you guys covered a lot. about why he was even placed around that area too. But I feel like a very healthy Embiid, like he could really dominate the league, especially with the Sixers. But I feel like since he's not gonna really be playing back to back, and especially with he's like so injury prone, like he really like falls from that. But number 4, I also have SGA, but I also have Luka at number 3. Yeah, I feel like I definitely prefer Luka over SGA, but there are really both two consistent players, and I mean they both lead their teams to really high places. But number 2, I have Giannis, also an elite player on both ends. But number 1, I do have ultimately Jokic.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, so can't go wrong in that top 5. There's a lot of good talent around the NBA right now, and the season starts in a couple weeks, so make sure to tune in to the NBA. See how we obviously have conflicting views around all the players, so it'll be interesting to see how things play out this
At the
season.
end of the season, we should do like a reaction to.
Yeah, we'll do a recap at the end of the year, see how accurate or terrible our lists look.
Yeah.
See if Wemby at 7 pays off.
Nah, for sure.
Bro.
I'm more concerned about Kyrie at 13. Like.
Yeah, I had him at I think 17.
I still like.
nah, you gotta be worried more about Wemby, Kyrie with Luka,
Wemby
and they
is-
played
Wemby is
for
good.
the first time together last season.
Mm-hmm.
And you see how far they came. I feel
But-
like they could really dominate even more
But
this
can we
season.
talk about Wemby actually having a point guard this season though? Like.
We'll see.
We'll see. Things change fast in the NBA. You
Okay,
never know.
okay.
So that was it for this week's episode of the Game Breakers podcast. Thank you for watching. Make sure to tune in next week as we cover more NFL and more NBA news around the league.